Most embarrassing loss of the season. They get blown out by the worst team in the NBA record-wise, the Orlando Magic, who, by the way, played in Houston last night. The Lakers had a couple of days off. Tough lesson to learn for a team when you kind of come in and you're not really ready to go, and maybe you take a team for granted. You're not good enough to do that, James, and you get rolled.
Yeah. Did we just beat the Celtics last week?
Yes. Beat Chicago a few nights ago.
Chicago.
8 out of 10.
Apparently they left everything in Toronto. You know, I hate to say it. You stay up there extra, you know, you just lose focus. And that was just embarrassing tonight. I thought they had gone through enough as a team to realize that you have to come out and win this game, the worst team in the league, especially as well as you've been playing and claiming that your defense is back and efficient. Tonight, they left everything on the bus.
Yeah. Nothing
got off the bus tonight. You could tell from the start of the game to the end. And that was just embarrassing for them. They should feel ashamed tonight.
You know, you're not overstepping when you say this is the worst loss of the season. But how could this take place? This is the team with the worst record. You know this team feels like this is a team that we should beat with the Lakers as well. You've been playing particularly well on the defensive end, but it wasn't about the X's and O's. It was just the effort.
Yeah.
How many times did we see open, non-contested three-point shots? How many times did we see, you know, miscommunication? The guy just like, oh.
It was a layup after layup after layup.
Hey, doing Luke, you good?
You're good. I feel like it's probably right to say, you know, our prayers and thoughts are with Rasul and his family. You know, I got to know him over his career, and he was a great guy. Really was a lot of fun to be around. Did some different charity events with him, and it's very sad, but our thoughts and prayers from our team and the organization are with him and his family.
All right, thanks, Luke. No way to transition to basketball, but we'll do so. Vogel was just talking about the concern with your kind of bigger front court, but yet you're still able to push pace. How have you done that with the lineups this year when sometimes, even though you're big, you still want to make sure the guys are getting running and trying to get easy looks?
Well, it's what you know, our team is kind of built for as far as when we're at our best. It's looking at our personnel. That's part of the reason we decided we wanted to be one of the fastest teams in the league this year, is because we have bigs that we know can run the floor as fast as guards, and you know, and then we drafted a point guard that can, you know, loves to throw it ahead. So it's part of the team that we have. So playing that way is built around that personnel.
When you talk to Ennis or Caruso, what do you have to have them do a little differently just because they're not Lonzo, if anything? Are there things you tell them that are different from the original plan would have been?
No, we're on them to you know, we remind them, but we remind all of our guys, let's get it out and go. You know, throw the ball ahead. If someone's open, even if it's not for a layup, if it's just a wing that's ahead, throw it ahead to them. You know, so we need them to still play with their using their strengths. But we also need them to be aware of the fact that every chance we get, we're trying to get the ball, rush it up court, and get into our offense quickly.
You know, it seems like half the time the schedule favors you, half the time it favors the opponent. In this case, Orlando had a tough game last night. Is there anything that you try to emphasize with your players to take advantage of that?
Well, that'll be part of, you know, us playing fast. You know, they played last night, they got in late, let's make them run, and maybe we don't notice it in the first or second or third, but hopefully by the fourth they start to fatigue a little bit. But you know, we've played on back-to-backs and we've won games that, you know, you didn't think we'd win, and it's the NBA. If we think for a second that we have an advantage and, you know, Gordon's out and they played a back-to-back, then we're not going to be sharp, and then we're not going to win tonight. So our mindset needs to be that we're playing a good team right now. They've beaten Boston, they beat Minnesota, they took Houston to the wire last night. So even though their record's not great, they're playing some pretty good dang basketball right now.
Coach, how hard is it for someone like you? You come from a winning pedigree, you're used to winning, to go through a rebuild. How hard is that?
It's hard. You have to be patient, but when you're looking at what we're trying to do, it's a lot of fun. We're trying to get a young team, an organization that I love, and get them back on top. And you got to take your lumps to do it. If you want to do it right, you got to go through it. You got to learn and feel what it's like to be on the bottom, and then see how hard it takes, how much work it takes to really enjoy pushing through to get out of the cellar. And we're in that right now, but it's all going to be worth it one day.
How hard is it to dig out of a rough patch? You guys went through a 9-game losing streak. A lot of teams, it kind of goes on downhill. How difficult is it to turn it around mid-season?
It's the players. They get credit because I've seen in this league. I've seen when it gets tough, especially in January. And it's not the beginning of the season where everyone's excited to play. It's not the end where the playoffs are coming up. January's tough, but we just kept grinding. We kept working every single day. We kept pushing our players, and they responded. Even though we were losing and we had injuries, they were competing their tails off in practice each and every day. And to me, that's kind of how you work your way out of it. You just work harder. And our guys didn't quit. They just kept working and working, and they found a way to start winning some of those games.
Luke, are the playoffs a carrot you put out there with your guys?
No.
You don't talk about it at all?
No, we don't even talk about Brooklyn. We talk about Orlando today, and then the next one, then the next one. Right now, it's just, we try to be, in the moment, day by day, as much as.
Hey, Luke, your defensive intensity has kind of been your hallmark this year. Where do you think that was tonight?
On a scale? You want a scale? That was as bad as it's been. Whatever the low numbers we had for the season, that was it. We weren't committed to guarding anyone tonight.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I know it's the NBA. Everyone has games like this, but I didn't think that. I didn't see that happen with our group today. I thought we'd come out ready to play, really get after it, and I think we did early to start the game, and then as soon as things got a little rough for us, it felt like there was individual needs were more important than the needs of the team, and it's no way to try to win a game in the NBA.
When you're not getting that effort, I know it's tough to measure then the execution, but all the three-point looks they were getting, is that just not following through with the scheme, or are you?
The scheme was fine. When we're getting blown by, just one-on-one, individually getting blown by, it just collapses your defense. You have no choice but to either at that point swarm to the ball to stop it, or give up a layup. And give them credit. Those guards were getting by our guys, and when we collapsed, they kicked it out to shooters and they knocked down shots.
Specifically, what happened at the start of the third quarter when you pulled the starters after about 90 seconds?
It was a 7-point game. I said, look, as poorly as we played in the first half, let's get this thing going now. And I just thought we came out with no energy. Everything we talked about at the halftime, Mo got a quick three. It didn't feel like our guys were ready to play. And the message was, look, if you're not ready to play or you don't want to play, you're not going to play. So we went to the second unit and then eventually kind of got guys back into the game. But just a teaching moment of we come out, we got to be ready. We got to be ready to play basketball.
Did that apply to Brook? Is that why Brook didn't come back, or was it more a matchup thing?
No, but it was the whole group. Brook didn't come back because by the time I would have put him back in, it was a close to 30-point game, and figured to get Thomas Bryant some minutes.
What was the mood in the locker room like after a loss like that? Is it angry or is it quiet?
It's quiet in there.
Any guys have anything to say, or is it just you talking to them?
No, I just, I gave my message, and then we brought it in.
Hey, Julius, what did you think was the issue with the overall intensity and defensive effort tonight?
It was just garbage. So, our effort and our focus wasn't there. And so,
wasn't there in the first half, and yet still you were still within 7. Did you think you were going to be able to find a way to turn it around in the third quarter? And if not, no, why not?
No, we did. We've had bad halves of defense, and we're able to really crank it up and get stops. We just didn't do it tonight.
Were they doing anything to get those looks in that third quarter? I think they had 9 threes, or was that just a product of the defense?
Starts with the individual challenge of guarding our man. So, you know, they getting in the lane, kicking out. And, you know, it just starts to scramble on defense, and they were extremely hot from the 3 today. So, you know, we didn't do a good job, you know, as a team.
You know, for your matchup, so sometimes teams will try to go big like they did tonight with Spates, even though he's a space 4. Sometimes they'll go a little smaller. What do you focus on depending on if it's a big or a smaller guy as your matchup?
Depending on, you talking about offense or defense?
I guess both.
It doesn't matter offensively. You know, everything I do, I try to do hard with speed and pace, no matter what it is. And defensively, you know, if it's small or big, it just depends on what they do. They stretch, you know, I try not to help as much and get burned. And they obviously did a good job of that today. But
when Luke makes a full lineup shift like he did at the start of the third quarter, 5 off, 5 on, what message does that send?
As a unit, we got to do a better job.